then next thing I know, I hear car doors slam. I look up and I see that car just driving away. And I found myself alone on the side of a highway in the middle of nowhere, Mexico. Hey guys, this is Adam Cayton-Holland, and this is Sketchy. When I was 24, me and two friends traveled to Mexico, and we backpacked around for a month and a half. We all spoke fluent Spanish, and we said, why not take these Spanish skills to Mexico, our fiery neighbor to the south? I think we drank 45 nights in a row. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, there was one night that we took off because our bodies needed it, and all three of us got migraine headaches. Our bodies were just like, you're stopping now? You see this to the goddamn end. So the next morning, we're like, well, that was foolish. Let's keep drinking every night. And every night was just three stupid Americans chasing dawn, howling at the moon. I remember one evening in the beautiful colonial town of Guanajuato, Mexico. Yeah, that's how good my accent is. We went out drinking, clubbing until they threw us out of the place. And we were stumbling around these old cobblestone streets, desperately in search of cigarettes, needed to smoke. Did I mention we were very charming? But all the little stores were closed. Finally, we heard some noise, and we rounded a corner, and it was like a late-night taqueria. We bought some tacos, we're hanging out drunk, stink lines emanating from our drunken bodies. When we noticed a group, there were two men and two women about our age. They were clearly together, or so we thought, because drunk Adam just wandered over and in his fluent Spanish started saying hello, and one of the young ladies showed an interest in drunk Adam. This was a double date scenario. It had gone wrong, and the girl was no longer interested in her date. She was interested in me, and she invited me to join them. You can imagine how her date felt, and you can imagine the energy he was giving to me as I drunkenly said sure and went with them to their car to drive to a party who knows where. My friends were like, later dude, that's all you. Gonna go fart and barf and burp in our hotel beds. I went off with them into the Mexican night. And I got into the back seat next to the girl who I'd befriended, and I believe her fella, who she had eschewed, was driving. And he just didn't like me, very understandably. I remember he had one of those portable compact disc players mounted to his dashboard. That was his sound system. Every bump would cause the song to skip. This guy was giving me a lot of attitude, which I get it, but I still didn't like the way he was coming at me. I could speak Spanish very well, and I knew that, and everyone said that everywhere we went. But this guy was just like, yo soy americano, mira, yo hablo como eso, doing this ugly American accent, which was not me. So I got mad at him in return, and every time his CD would skip, I'd just be like, oh yeah, encanto esta canción, like I love this song. ¿Qué sistema? ¿Cuánto cuesta este sistema? How much was your sound system? This is the shit. Just needling this dude. We saw a little tiendita. I said, hey, can you pull over? He said, sure, thinking probably he could ditch me, but no way. I brought the girl in with me to the store. We got some beers. I got a pack of cigarettes, which is what I was after. Marlboro Reds, not my brand, but in a pinch in the Mexican night. I'll smoke those motherfuckers. Got back in the car, heading into the outskirts of town now. We're on highways. I don't recognize anything. And there was this exit. I don't know if the dude up front driving was drunk or I was in his head, but he crashed into the median. Tire had exploded, or so we thought. We all get out of the car. I leap out. I was like, oh my God, we just almost died. And he's looking at his tire. I'm just kind of pacing. I light up a cigarette. And then next thing I know, I hear car doors slam. I look up and I see that car just driving away. And I'll never forget that señorita looking through the back rear windshield at me. She just waved. Goodbye, friend. What could have been this evening? What could have been? And they drove off, and I found myself alone on the side of a highway in the middle of nowhere, Mexico. Well, I could sit there and lick my wounds, or I could start trying to fix the problems. God damn it, I was drunk and American, and I was about fixing problems. I darted across the highway to the opposite side, and I hitchhiked. It got later and later, and the sun started to rise. Finally, a semi-trucker pulled over, and I jumped up into his cabin of his car. To his credit, it only took about 10 minutes before he put his hand on my high thigh and leered his silver-toothed leer in my direction, and I said, that's my cue, and I opened the door, and I leapt out of the car. But I was that much closer to Guanajuato. I was on the outskirts. And so I just started walking. But then I finally got into the few structures on the outskirts of town, and it felt dangerous, but it was also so early. No one was even awake yet. It was just me, wasted. And I walked through the town. I saw storefronts opening. I saw good people going about their good lives. While I just brought my stink into town. I finally found my hotel in the center of town, and I walked up the stairs to my room, and I knocked on the door because I'd forgotten my key. My friends were in bed, and one of them got up and opened up the door, and I collapsed into back next to him. And he looked at me and goes, "Hey, did you get any cigarettes?" And I threw him the pack of Marlboro Reds, and he just said, "That's my boy."